Okairi Wakiyakitachi. Welcome in, you guys. Welcome in, welcome in. How you guys doing? You guys doing well? I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing good. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, EJ. Hey, Neo. Hey, Jalek. And hey, Kajoka. Hey, Shiroe. Welcome, welcome. Yes. It is part 2. It's always been part 2. Cough, 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 cough. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good so far. Anyway, so today what I'm gonna be doing is finishing up let's see, the regular checkup. Look, if there is a huge lore drop or a huge like holy crud, then it would be in this part. So I'm excited, and I'm doing good. Dragon Ball went well, just some general information. It was quick, short, sweet, to the point, so that was fun. But yes, it's finally time to finish it up, see what other fights we have. I did actually, did you not notice this? Did not notice this part 2, so hi, Gerald. Yeah, we're just gonna be finishing it up. The dispenser's almost unlocked for these two too, so that'll make farming this currency a lot easier. But yeah, I'm ready. Hopefully these fights won't be too hard for me, but you know, without further talking, let's finally jump in. Is this a slice of life, or is there a huge lore drop that I'm about to learn about? Dulled harpoon. Oh heck. I didn't realize. Wait, they're having Ryoshu and Ishmael fight together? This cannot go well. It's definitely Captain Ishmael. Wait, yeah, Cappy Ish and Egoshu are gonna be perfect for this. Yeah, Cappy Ish and Egoshu. This is gonna be the best. So Zwei is nice too. I could take someone's. I'm gonna take someone's Zwei and run Labo Court. Do not take 10 plus hits during the encounter for each ID. That's easy. For full blunt. Ah, Shiroe teaching me how to play. Or telling me the little hacks. Uptie 1 egos, SMH. Dude, I'm not gonna uptie all of them. I don't have the threats. Well, they weren't too much trouble. Next up's you two. Get in there. But with Ryoshu, let's do this, I guess. ST. What? She wants to switch teams. Really? Now what's your problem this time, Ryoshu? Your dull blade doesn't interest me. It's dulled so much that I doubt it can even impale that sickly nerd over there. I don't think she'll have too much trouble impaling Hohenheim. I'd rather not watch that blood fiend fight again. Thou speakest of me. That's just quite the pickle. Oi, she wants to switch teams. Is that all right? Of course not. You heard the man. Let's go. I'll admit that my harpoon's not as sharp as it used to be, and I'll admit that I've lost a bit of my edge since then. But we're sailing on the same boat. I'm not gonna hold you or anyone else back. I'm always ready to go back to razor sharpness when the need arises. Squinting to read? Is it really? Hang on, let me fix something real quick. I'm right here, y'all, but I gotta fix something so it doesn't close my eyes every time I try to read. Okay, that should be a lot better. Cool. Did you know Yield My Flesh event rerun is next week? Wait, really? Wait, I have to farm 2 things now? Hang on. Is there a PV for it already? Let me check. Limbus company, where is there a PV for it yet? No. If it's next week, the PV will be this weekend. No PV, just voice event. I mean, they did it for Christmas bus though. So leaks for don't tell me. I don't want to know. I'm swapping you out as soon as you start making a fool of yourself. Lass, I thought I've been clear enough on the switching teams ain't a thing. Ecatulum, Super BA, Pride. Hohenheim Jonan as if bickering sinners didn't exist in his world. Wheels, symbol of technology, and the vector of humanity's ultimate pursuit. The wheel, and its boundless pride, rolls on in search of perfect circle, something unconquered even by nature. Yet it remains uncaring for the flesh it rends, nor the grass it tramples in its path. Isn't that just confidence, not pride? You can't get anything done by just sitting idly in place. One might even say that pride is but another name for overconfidence. It oft claims trailblazers or those who have never tasted failure. Huh, someone like you, Hohenheim? Well, that certainly is a perspective. Next up is luxury, lust. Moving on just like that, huh? The meaning of peccatulum, luxury, lust is not exactly what it says on the tin. A more illustrative description would say that it is, yes, an obsession to spread a fragment of what forms the self, a desire to propagate greed. Of course, there is more to this concept than that. While the world itself may be subject to interpretations limited to carnal understanding, to share one's knowledge, one's ideas, to invite others into gaining the understanding of a sliver of oneself. You seek to express such things are lust as well. Not bad. I always appreciate these discussions with the learned. There never is any dead air. Oh. Admit it, Heathcliff. All that flew right over your head, didn't it? Why even ask? Unnecessary. Shush and get in there. Good chance new egos or IDs like with Christmas event if they rerun. That's what I'm thinking, but they had a PV for Christmas bus. That's kind of why I'm like, oh, they gotta do a PV, right? And you know, maybe not, maybe they won't, but that doesn't mean I can't be excited for the potential of a PV. Well, bye. I guess Cromer is like stage 4 lust peccatule for Sinclair. Dude, Cromer has an interesting amount of love for, you know. Wait, I just realized she's wielding this Gigantosaurus sword, and she's apparently supposed to be oh, Ryoshu, don't you dare lose. And she's apparently supposed to be blunt. You're missing the big things, Voice Kim and Rules of Backstreets, man. Dude, I don't want to hear about Voice Kim. I'm tired of hearing it. Or not Voice Kim. I don't want to hear about Voiced Backstreets boy, okay? That guy is a terror for me. Stop. Backstreet's boy is not fun. I have to fight him again, and I don't want to. June. I've heard his voice below. It's less a sword and more a slab of iron. Ah, we're talking berserk right now, aren't we? The power of friendship. Dude, with the power of friendship, I will lose to June. But yes, her counter is a clash counter. Whose is? Okay, let's see. So she probably has serious Skullbuster up, to be honest. Let's get rid of some of these blues right here. Serious Skullbuster, yes! And slam! 175 damage, easy. Okay, perfect. I mean, this is really easy. You just can't get hit pretty much. So, like, as long as you don't get hit, you pretty much win. It. Overkill time. Again, the first few fights in this were ridiculously hard. Just win clashes. Just win clashes, nerd. And, I mean, I guess if you get countered, that stinks, but, like, you know. Did we get past the rock? Yes. It turns out someone's suggestion to just spam sinking ended up being exactly what I needed to win. The spamming sinking worked. Spam! Excuse me, guys. Can't let you through, can't let you through. Okay, might want to ego here. Red eyes, perfect. Dichi Mirror and Hook Greg. Yeah, Dichi Mirror. Actually, no, we still use Bleed Boy. Who knew the rock was so hard? Who could have known that his powers were so extensive? Serious! Oh no, that's just normal Skullbuster. Skullbuster! Oh yeah, Priest Greg, Dichi Mirror, and Multi-Crack Faust. Got red eyes on my red eyes on my red eyes. Red eyes, red dragon. Okay, let's burn some of these purples for Ryoshu. That's just gonna be helpful. And burn some of these blues for... Actually, better yet, I think that would be beneficial. And then we can burn a couple blues. Perfect. Because I need to burn some of Ishmael's blues, so that way it's a bit easier. Oh wait, that was the end of the fight. There's no boss? Why does he roll higher than my dodge? I thought there would be a boss. Okay, I'm not gonna complain. Stinging. Each unit defeats the Pecatulum that has taken their shape once. Wait. Oh, is this the one where you have to... Oh, Don Quixote and Ring Song? Okay, like, I know for a fact you want this the manager. Manager is just kind of too good right now. It's neat to see all these higher tier Pecatulum. And honestly, I think Sync Song and Manager are gonna be the strongest ones for this fight. So we're gonna take them. You don't have Manager? I do have Manager. I literally have her right now. Oh. I use Blade Lineage? Verily, now is the time for young Yi Song and I to face the test. The nature of our trial shall take form as Pecatule Invide. I assume that we all have first-hand experience with static shocks. Oh? Does static shock have aught to do with envy? Anyone who's been subject to both static shock and the envy of others must know that the latter stings in the same manner as the former does. I'll comprehend thine explanations. Ah, I see. To explain in plainer example, Miss Don Quixote, you have always been fond of and held great respect for the illustrious color fixers, am I correct? Verily, I should be second to none were my passion for them to be measured. Now, imagine yourself at a convention of sorts, in which the said illustrious colored fixers are holding an event to disseminate their autographs, and imagine that you're a part of the excited queue. Oh, indeed. I have mentally placed myself there. Proceed. Yet, in great misfortune, the event comes to a close, mere moments before you were to receive your autograph. Alack for woe. Fate plays such cruel jest on my pitiful soul. Now, Do imagine what sort of emotion you'd feel for the fellow fan who received the final autograph immediately before you received yours, ere the chance was robbed. Well, it would be quite the jealousy burning within mine heart. A painfully tingling sensation by you certainly enjoy explaining things, don't you? I suppose all scholars are kindred spirits after all. You too! Quit the chin wag and get in there! Verily! Then onward to a new adventure! Then I shall follow. Yi-sang is such a good teacher. That was a pretty good example. Like, Yi-sang used a pretty strong example to explain to Don Quixote. Oh! So Don Quixote has to defeat Don Quixote. Yi-sang has to defeat Yi-sang. It's BL versus BL. Interesting. So it turns out that we have just learned a big detail, you guys. Pecatulae are the ones that took the forms of the individuals that we had in what's it called? Of the people in that one thing. Mirror Dungeon. I was like, of the people in that one thing, yes. Chinwag, 4 waves, 2 waves. BL is blade lineage, right? Yes, BL is blade lineage. We already knew they were? Oh, I didn't know. Remember, if there's anyone to blame Ian, Carman, especially Carman. Bang, 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 bang. Stylized shot. Dude, Yi-sang just Yi-sang him. Yi-sang out here. Okay, well, we're gonna complete our missions immediately. Let's do it. Always slow on the uptake. It's okay, we love you anyways. Thank you, EJ. I am a little mentally slow, you guys. I'm just a little dumb. There we go. Only a little, only a little. Yi-sang in you. Solemn Lemon, a Yi-sang in you. Stagger. Dude, he's going to just pelt that Yi-sang with bullets. The Yi-sang is just destroying Yi-sang right now. Holy heck, Rip Space versus Enough is Enough. Oh my god, how did she win against Rip Space? Dude, Rip Space is busted. There's no way she won. Dawn impaling Dawn sounds like the plot of a fanfic. Oh my god, please stop. Please. Because that Rip Space has no charge? Is that really it? Here I was thinking that I didn't realize charge increased the power of her Rip Space. No charge Rip Space. I thought Rip Space was just a high roller to begin with. Please don't taunt me. I know, you have used W units, yes? Leave me alone. Why does everyone think I'm dumb? I'm not dumb. I'm just slow. It rolls high if you have charge. It's +4 coin power. So without charge, it doesn't roll high. Oh, that's okay. Charge increases power and 2 low charge steals HP. So that's how that works. Hello, Dreknarek. Guys. I'm just a little slow. Wait, they want us to use everyone except for Yi-sang or Don Quixote? Did Don Quixote lose her mind? Uh-oh. So this has got to be the big moment, isn't it? The fact that she's... Hold on. Clear within 10 turns? Okay. Let me take my stronger team with me. I messed up my bleed team entirely. Oh my gosh. Here we go. That's correct. Okay. Curious indeed. Indeed. It is so. Okay, let's see. Who are my strongest characters? Definitely my definitely the IDs that are essentially season enders are very overpowered. And then Yisong and Oshu are gonna be really strong here. I could run Prindian, but I think Dichi is gonna be better for this. I'm a little nervous. Okay. I have teams being main story, then damage type. Then sins, then main statuses. I usually run by status affliction. That's it. Literally just status affliction. Dichi, Honglu. Dude, I have so many egos for Honglu, but none that I can really use. We'll take a supporter sync salt. Actually, you know, what am I thinking? We're gonna take a supporter Faust. Oh gosh, something's gonna happen to Don Key. I know Don Key's gonna get something that happens. What's y'all's thought about Bolgak? Do you mean Blade Lineage? The foundation that led to this disaster was laid by none other than Yisong, whose only sin was making an innocent, tragically casual comment sometime after we ran our final tests. Please vacate the room, people. Cleanup coming through. Apologies, Miss Don Quixote has ought to. Prithee, avail me but a moment. The shoelaces upon Roshinante have come undone. What? How? I remember tying like 7 different knots on your shoes. Yet 'twere quite the hideous accessory to be forced upon Roshinante. I have tied one of them once again in the shape of a ribbon. Yeah, the knots didn't look that great. Ribbons are cute. Oh boy. Yet I must begin to wonder about the consequences of Miss Don Quixote freeing her feet from Roshinante at her present state. Whatever art thou suggesting? Roshinante is none other than mine eternal steed, bound to me by fate itself. None shall ever dare sever the bond betwixt us. It was a query posed toward Miss Faust, yet I appreciate your answer all the same. And Faust's reply was what set fire upon the rather combustible foundation. I cannot know. What? An obvious outcome given that no relevant data has ever been collected. Well then, no time like the present to get collecting, huh? Good thing we're in a lab too. Where are we gonna get another chance to do that? Yes. Oh, this course of action is highly inadvisable. Yeah, sounds like a bad time to me. I heard all kinds of horrible stuff happen on the train the moment her shoes came off. Sure did. But 'twas but an independent decision, called by Roshinante itself due to certain extreme circumstances that had naught to do with mine will. Well, you know, potato. I was already quite aware that the core of that individual may well lie in her pair of running shoes. Fie on thee! Fie! Thou shan't treat a person such as I like some useless shell. What if we slipped your shoes off and on again really quickly? The standards here at LCE department demand precise measurements. In other words, These tests would be meaningless if all we are measuring is a hollow shell. Hollow shell! We have indulged your predictable provocations enough, Hohenheim. It seems necessary to remind you that you have not yet received the full report of what transpired during that incident. In other words, you are risking the occurrence of an unexpected event. You concern yourself unnecessarily. The construction of my laboratory boasts a rather solid build. Not even abnormalities on the powerful side of things can puncture holes in its walls. Oh, very well. I will not force your hand. However, due to your unwillingness, I am behooved to record as such in my research journal. Due to the concerned sinner's ultimately terrified reaction, oh gosh, due to the concerned sinner's ultimately terrified reaction at the prospect of having to remove her shoes, I must unfortunately leave only a half-complete test result here. Utterly terrified? Terrified? And for your information, these research reports are stored for at least a decade. Yes, we will have possession of a full record of your playing cowardice for at least 10 years. Outcome, NA. Reason, subject was too scared to participate. After much contemplation, I have come to conclude that dearest Rocinante deserveth a moment of respite as well, and I, Don Quixote, shall demonstrate before thee that Don Quixote is still Don Quixote in her core, still, without Rocinante's assistance. Oh god. Are you sure this is a good idea, Faust? Oh, and if your employment at Limbus Company ever comes to a unilateral termination, I suppose the cause will be apparent. Your highly irresponsible level of curiosity. Not a good idea. Got it. That would be my greatest honor as a researcher. Hey, if anything goes wrong, Yi-Song will be on the ready to slip the shoes right back on your feet at a moment's notice, okay? I shall be on the ready. Behold me, not with excessive anticipation all. There shan't be any new revelations here. Don Quixote begins to untie your shoes, seething. The 7-layered knot poseth quite the difficulty. Young Ishmael, wherefore hast thou tied these cords with such unwavering tightness? I was hoping they'd be the last knot those shoelaces would ever tie. Of course. There we go. Rest thee well, Rocinante, for I... The sinners and I were all quite nervous, but none of us stepped forward to stop this experiment. Why didn't we stop this? Was it because we thought we knew removing Rocinante doesn't necessarily mean that she'll be losing control? Because we saw its effects on the warp train at La Mancha Land? Or was it because we assumed that Rocinante was now just a disguise? And now that Don Quixote has accepted her past the Sancho, removing it wouldn't affect her psyche at all. Oh shoot. I got goosebumps, y'all. Whichever was the case, if it was a mistake to ignore that nagging feeling, these researchers don't know what facing Don Quixote, Sancho the second kindred is like. We do. Mother. Oh, Mother. Our existence is death in perpetuity. Complete us. Fill us with hunger. We pray unto you. Fill us with the blood of humans. With the blood of humans. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna need this voiced. The teeming, shouting voices suddenly begin to echo in my head. They're voices of all children he had embraced. Or perhaps this was the blood fiend's instinct to give voice imprinted upon them at the moment of their birth. Proliferate this disease, embrace this unending hunger for blood, and propagate the family. So many voices, so much yearning, so much desire. Every single kindred that has ever existed in the past kneels before Don Quixote. Oh, dearest mother, as your children. When shall we be permitted to quench this thirst for blood? I must drink blood. I have to drink all the blood. All the blood that the family deserve to drink. I must. Dante? Dante, wake up! Ain't this a lot like the last time at the building when the fire on the head suddenly exploded? I gotta get a hold of myself. Thirst. My body can't even feel thirsty. This doesn't make any sense. Okay. I'm okay now. Did you see, Dante? If we want to bring Don Quixote back, we're gonna need to quench her thirst somehow. We need something to sate the combined thirst. Desire of every single kindred. That's not good. Do you keep blood in here? Let's at least try to quench what's... yeah, we have some blood samples if you need them. Dang it. Haven't you all been listening to what the executive manager's been saying? It's the combined thirst of every single kindred. A few blood samples aren't going to do anything. So you're gonna sit here and do nothing? Ain't this just a matter of getting her shoes back on? Right. Yi-sung, shoes! Get those back on her feet! I cannot. A bizarre wall of pressure surrounds her. This is one luxury cig. Good flavor. I bought those luxury cigarettes with our last bonus pay. These readings are incredible. So much power. Even a state that is, for all intents and purposes, complete emaciation. Well, you egged her on knowing this would happen? I had many outcomes in mind. Some were quite similar to this, but this is beyond even the most extreme of my predictions. How the heck are you so calm about this? We've got to do something. You haven't even seen how all the last hits. What would be the use of panicking now? If the outcome doesn't align with the predictions, the first course of action should be to analyze the given data. However, it doesn't seem like our containment measures will be the answer here. Thus, the task of stopping her falls straight onto all of you. Time for us to pay the price of curiosity. Dang, okay, so apparently, just because Roshinante's on her feet and she's accepted Sancho doesn't mean that she's okay. She's still La aventura ha terminado. She's still very not happy. Oh my god, you have to win the first clash. Okay, so I have sinking. So there is actually a potential chance. I gotta sink her first with my sinking IDs. And if I sink her first, then I can probably rely upon Sirius or Skullbuster to try and defeat her. Okay, so let's sink her first, then let's Skullbuster her. Oh. Well, that hurt. She cheats with her skill, gaining plus 45 SP on use. Oh. Wait, so if you lose that, is the fight over?
실수하는 건 괜찮아. 나도 자주 덜렁대서 수첩에 모든 걸 적어놓으며 다녔거든. 마음만 약해지지만 않으면 되는 거야.
Nah, okay. So you don't have to win that one, but it would probably make the fight easier to win it. Come on, Captain Ishmael. You have the power of Ahab in your hands. Okay, So,
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다.
oh, fridge.
참고로 기계는 입에 달린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
You'll understand why with that strainer. It just nukes one sinner with that strainer shield. TBF, it doesn't hurt too much if a pierce resistant ID takes it. Celebration, a Yi song in you. Fridge cakes.
직원의 상태가 나빠 보이는군요. 흔히 이걸 나사 빠진 상태라고 표현하던가요? 방금 건
She really does
실험용
not want me
농담이
to
긴장 완화를 위한 조력이었습니다.
win, huh, guys?
나아가주게.
For the AK collab, it's sometime this year. We're not like entirely sure just yet. So, TBF it did, so oh gosh, this is a hard fight already because she has so much shield. I'm hoping I can still get it in 10 turns. So, this was the big thing. The fact we have to fight Donkey again. Imagine when this event rerun. Well, we'll have a lot stronger IDs when this event reruns. So, I'm not super duper worried. That's why I recommend Wa Ego and use Super Bia. Ah, that would have actually been nice. Using WoW and Super Bina. Sinking make this fight a joke. Dude, and I didn't even take a full stinking team. I took just a normal team. I just took a strong team with me. Save the clock powers for later? Yeah, no Super Bina. Rio about to pop with bleed? That's okay, we have someone else who can come in. Blam. I just hear the smack with her the smack with her weapon, and you just hear her go, oh. I shouldn't be laughing at the fact Ryoshu died. That was horrible for her. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get the 10 turn limit, am I? Can't remember if you can actually win this fight. Wait, you can't win this fight?
관리자님도 알다시피 저는 언제나 수십 명의 몫을 해내고 있으니까요.
Dude, Autiz is gonna get Autiz at this point. She's gone. I'm gone. Rhyme Shank. Well, what is caster? Yeah, we're gonna let Autiz die though. Oh my gosh, will her shield go away? Pose. If it's like kill her HP threshold. Cast it in. Oh, Cassie. And of course, Claire is just here to help. Good about us. I shouldn't be laughing at the fact Autiz died, but I just watched her like explode into a billion pieces. I hate you, Hohenheim. You did this to me. feral Sanchote. Alright, let's do this. Come on, y'all. You guys are strong enough to take her out in 10 turns. Okay, we got the power of Requiem. Wait, I'm surprised that that Wild Hunt Cliff isn't reviving anyone. Oh yeah, beautiful. Beautiful, Sinclair. Beautiful heads. You know, be at negative 15 sanity but roll heads. Beautiful, Sinclair. Just... It's just so peak. Beautiful. You need stacks of coffin?
적들이 우세해.
La Adventura ha terminado.
훈련을 계획해봐야겠네. 훈련을 하고 나면 다들 많이
To be fair,
달라지더라고.
Hohenheim just persuaded Don, everyone else decided to go along. I guess you could say they... I actually don't know what you could say. Okay, let's go.
직접 알게 합니다.
What? Oh my god.
치명상을 입은 직원이 있군요. 매일 말하는 거지만 모든 죽음은 의미가 없습니다. 손실을 극복할 수 있는 방법을 모색해 주세요.
Holy crud. She just wiped away my entire team. Oh my god. I thought Kanto 7 was done. And then she was just like, hiya! And then killed everyone. Oh my god. I have to be the mother to all of them. The family's thirst. It's... No, my lady. You needn't be the mother of anyone here. Virgilius flying in to save the freaking day again. You are a sinner, nothing more. Yes! Oh! Holy heck! We got a red color fixer versus Don Quixote before GTA 6. I'm fangirling over that. Dude, he showed up for like 2 seconds and that was enough for me. He showed up and he just wah, 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 and, oh. I always love seeing Virgilius in action. He just shows up, bah, bah, and that's it. If only they had more budget for this side story. If only. Thank you for the sub. I will not place the blame of this incident on anyone. Dante. Ah! That made this entire canto worth it. I loved it. That made me so happy. I understand that no one could have expected this outcome. Given the dearth of intelligence regarding the binding tool, the first kindred had gifted to the third sinner. Well, then. I hadn't had that much first-hand experience with watching Virgilius fight, but this was certainly the most exhausted I've seen him after a fight. I decided to say nothing and turn the clock. After some time had passed. Okay, so Rocinante seals Don Quixote now. It keeps her from going feral/berserk. If she goes feral/berserk, she'll kill everything. And Virgilius was the only one as a red-colored fixer who could handle her. But the question is, why does he call her my lady? He has has some kind of attachment to Don Quixote. Seals her blood fiend instincts. Yeah. Which was the... So that was the gift from Dad Quixote. Base Verg and Bloodstarved Don are equal, but Ego Verg and is greater than Don. She's a noble. Okay, when we get Verg Canto, probably. If we get Virgilius Canto. I mean, if you guys think about her Uptie story, right? As manager of Lamunchi's Land, she does become the first kindred if Don Quixote dies. Don Quixote died, so she probably is considered the first kindred for that family, even though that family is dead. So she has blood fiend instincts that are sealed by Dad Quixote. That was his final parting gift. That's both sweet and horrifying. Don Quixote, what happened? Did you lose consciousness, or did something affect your memory? Manager Esquire, my memories were fine. But I heard something as soon as I removed my shoes. Voices, right? Once again, you have witnessed me. Yes, the voices. So many voices. Voices? The voices of my family. But the blood fiends of La Mancha Land are all... Sinclair trailed off. Every single blood fiend left inside La Mancha's Land was killed when the amusement park collapsed. They explain in a bit, but you're on the point. Okay, I thought so. I mean, they're literally about to say it seems like so. In other words, most of Don Quixote's lower kindreds were dead. That is indeed correct. But I cannot well explain how... The only way I might explain this is that it was as though my very blood remembered them still. I recognized some of them, and some of the voices were those I once deeply cared for. It seems that I was against my own desire, made to ascend my father's seat. Perhaps I always was, ever since then. And I was struck not only by my thirst, but the combined thirst of every single one of the children. Oh my gosh. Dude, Dad Quixote was suffering for years. He had the combined thirst of every single blood fiend, every single one in his family, and he had to hold that back. Gosh dang. Poor Dad Quixote. And like some of them were just complaining about having to eat a hemo bar. Dude, he was having to like scarf down hemo bars with the hunger of his family in him. Thirst. Indeed. I'm also bound by that thirst. It's only natural because I am a blood fiend. Thus, the pressure of it all broke my sanity, hold of my sanity, and I hurt you all as Don Quixote the blood fiend, higher kindred, not as Don Quixote, a sinner and your friend. Don Quixote, this isn't your fault. It's... No such words. No. Such words are now meaningless. She looked down at her pair of shoes, their strings again neatly tied. The higher office will now be regularly supplying you with artificial blood packs. Hohenheim approached us after spending a while vigorously scribbling something in his notes. The blood substitute will be very similar to real blood in terms of composition, and we won't have issues with the supply. I don't suppose you actually believe that mere willpower would be enough to withstand this urge. I have done quite well suppressing it thus far. Indeed. And that was precisely the wick attached to the ticking time bomb within the LCB. Must I remind you that soundness of this limiter of yours is quite tenuous, as today's events have demonstrated? Is it your implication that the purpose of conducting this reckless experiment was to determine the full extent of the latent danger? Oh no, it seemed like he was only in it to sate his own curiosity. Call it merely the auspice of opportune convenience. The risk factor had to be measured sooner or later. Had I known the full extent of danger she posed, I would have immediately requested a forceful summoning of your department. Of course, as large as this void of unknown was, we were able to fill it with much new information. Certainly, analysis can be drawn by comparing the reports regarding blood fiends and this very experiment. Let us discuss the thirst you experienced. For example, the combined desire of every lower kindred. Also, hello, Noah. Oh, he kinda cares. Yeah, sure. Harry Potter cares. I'm just Hohenheim. Just Hohenheim. That's it. Just Hohenheim. Did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Have you seen that what we're all getting from Yield My Flesh? No, and do not tell me. In case there's a PV, I want to be surprised by the PV. There might be a PV, okay? Some of you are like, oh, there's no PV. But there might be a PV, okay? If we're getting it next week, there might be a PV. So don't tell me. I want to be surprised. I just want to be surprised. But you still heard the voices of your children, yes? What are you trying to say? I aim to discuss the powerful binding force contained within blood. LCD's cooperative report explains that blood is not merely a carrier of nutrients, but something more. That it contains certain abstract values as well. We sent in a complaint that the report was too vague in its wording, and we received a reply. Their on-site investigative reasoning team leader spat out, the contents of which were equally fascinating. The desire of their kind, this thirst, is something that may as well be imbued and imprinted on the familial bloodline. Normally, the weight of the thirst is far too heavy for any individual to bear, which is why they propagate, to bear the unbearable burden together. But considering that all that desire is now focused onto an individual on account of extinction of their family line. Oh my god. Okay. I get it. I get it now. Okay. That makes sense. So, because the entirety of what's it called? Because the entirety of oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Because of the entirety of the blood fiends being dead, they're essentially their will, desire, and hunger is passed on her. So if she removes the shoes, that comes flooding into La Michigan family. Dude, we have La Munchies Land, La Mancha Land, La Muncha Land, and La Michigan Land. La Michigan family. She alone was made to bear the responsibility, the pressure, the duty of having to raise the family once again. Blood fiends need to have children to not go insane. So much La Michelin Man. Give her sinkin' Dante? Yeah, let's just let Don Quixote sink her fangs into Sinclair and Dante. Bam, problem solved. We are now blood fiends. Man, poor Don Quixote. Because she's the last, I knew Michigan was a weird place. La Michigan. And because none of those needs are currently met, there comes endless exacerbating thirst, and more thirst. It's quite fascinating to see how your kind preserves these very abstract values in physical form of blood. The mere words thirst does quite the insufficient job of describing the intensity with which you have lost control. This was an oversight, I must admit. Don't let Faust hear that. I do respect your efforts to be liberated from your nature. I truly do. But I also maintain that it is highly advisable for you to regularly consume the provided blood packs. Understood. But one day, I wish to dismount from Roshinante and walk bare feet, and feel the earth under my own skin. I was able to establish one positive fact from this exercise. What might that be? That there are those who would, quite literally, throw their lives on the line to stop you, even if you were to take off your shoes. In other words, I don't believe it is necessary for other departments to exercise any separate control over you. Well, now that I've had a first-hand account of your conditions, I will write the following report. Still quite unstable, yet with the effort from the subject herself and efforts from various environment factors, this subject has deemed sufficiently controllable. Once again, I do respect your efforts, or any kind of effort really, because I've never had much use for it myself. Don Quixote took a deep breath, then turned to face the sinners. By then, her eyes had regained their usual softer look, but sorrow was seeping from the tone of her voice. Despite her theatrical manner of speech returning, her tone reminded me of the time at La Mancha Land. My deepest apologies, dear friends. Forsooth, I shall ever persevere to see that Roshinante, my shoes, are never to be removed again. Lass, you're looking all wrong. You're going to remove those shoes one day, yeah? And that's what we're going to persevere towards. Verily. I think she let out a brief, quiet laughter. Ah, Manager, Esquire. Perchance, is there aught that thou concealest from my knowledge? What do you mean? I don't think so. It's no coincidence that, at this very moment, I noticed Faust looking in my direction. I don't know if I made the right choice here, but Faust nodded lightly, as though to say that I did. I stopped hesitating, and the tick-tocking noise came to a stop. Very well then. However, cannot help but admit that I felt some degree of anxiety as I watched Don Quixote walk away as though nothing had happened. Plug time. Guys, thanks for watching the stream. If you guys enjoy the content, please consider giving a like and a sub as it helps out so much. And please consider joining Discord down in the description because that is where we talk about a bunch of fun, random, awesome stuff. Yay! Dang it, Dante. Dante once again lying to his sinners. Dude, that was crazy. The amount of lore we just learned about, also, finally picking a lantern song. My rupture team is filling out. Word soup plug time. Dude. Donkey just... Well, we just learned a ton about her, and we're nearing the end. Censored. So, a lot of people theorized that it was due to Heathcliff distorting. No, I think that the reason why was mainly because of Don Quixote and her blood fiendness coming out at La Mancha Land. Get high every day. Sorry. Thanks, Heath. Yeah, Heathcliff win. Heathcliff coming in and being like, Lass, we're gonna get you out of this, you know. And she's just like, Heathcliff. Dude, Heathcliff W. Heathcliff out here supporting all the homies, being nice to Don Quixote. That's the kind of Heathcliff we love. The one that Kathy would have taken into her arms if she didn't die. Catherine. Well, now that that's over and done with, I would like the sinners to come gather around here. Hohenheim placed the sinners on in a single file before him and began. Now that the regular checkup is complete, we We finally have enough data to compare your pre-employment statuses to one of those of your current selves. Which means, indeed, we were able to measure your pre-employment capabilities as well. Oh, and what are your conclusions? Allow me to preface this by saying that there isn't much significance in establishing the hierarchy of power in a linear scale. Like I said, you are all equally mediocre at the present anyways, and oh, there's plenty of significance, all right. We've got to know who's the big boss. Well, while it is but a speculation of the worst case scenario, we must know which of us has the most right and authority to lead the rest of the sinners in case our executive manager becomes due to some unknown yet inexorable circumstances unavailable. Oh my god, that was the most I think I've ever heard Auda's talk. Ever. She's usually just sitting there like, Manager Esquire, doth your butt need cleaning? Hey, that's... I don't listen to anyone weaker than I am. But Ryoshi, you listen to me all the time. So... I'm stronger than Ryoshi. Ayan only peak character development and being wifeless. Ayan only finished what Carmen started, but didn't have the will to finish. True. Well, actually, no. Well, yeah, actually, yes. Ayan finished. It's really all because of Ayan and Carman that we are in the situation we're in. There was a burgeoning interest amongst the sinners to see which one of them would be the apex of the scale. Were they yet to be measured by strengths prior to their employment? Hey. Maybe before I lost my memories. Even I, Dante, don't. It is interesting how every collective has a desire to get a clear picture, oh my god, of their pecking order. A negative expression of this desire may lead to juvenile behaviors among children. For example, stealing their colleagues' lunches for meager reasons such as scoring higher than they did on the test. You're not speaking from personal experience, are ya? Thus, I believe that trying to conceal the outcome of the test from you would be rather meaningless. Each of your placements in that line you're standing in signifies that very order. You were curious, so curious to know? I do not wish to waste any more breath on the subject. There was only a long, long silence. So, Yi-sung is the strongest? Then the sinners all simultaneously turned to look at the person standing in the frontmost position. This has to be the longest, most awkward, most loaded silence I've ever felt. Much did I wish to hold shrouded in my fathoms, yet I yearned still to convey that we are all more than meets the eye. Yet there remains a certain abundance within my heart. Perhaps the tests of this day paint a picture of both of my qualities. Thus spoke I, Yi-sung. Yi-sung, I will place trust in the faith that all of you shall one day sprout wings as I have. Yi-sung, it's the other way around? Yes, the line was made from my point of view. From here, the sinner wielding the oversized lance is the one at the front of the line. Well, you said some cool words though. We got this, right? Yi-sung? Well, 'tis quite the bashful occasion. To be the center of such fervent attention of one such company. I wouldn't say fervent is the right word. Worried, maybe? I shall be vigilant. No one seemed to have objections or doubts about who the strongest sinner was, given the earlier event. On second thought, it appears that it would be best if we left command to Ishmael, as we have done so far. Otis mumbled through gritted teeth. Forsooth, I'm in agreement. I am more partial to roles as defending fixer or esquire. 'Tis oft the case that such side characters enjoyed greater popularity since time immemorial. Very happy to see this discussion not coming to blows. Now are we all ready to move on? Wait a minute. Are we all forgetting something pretty important? That's just how it works, Greg. No one remembers anyone between the first place and the last place. I even forgot my own placement. No, I mean, fellas, I wasn't even a part of the list. Oh, were you not? Who cares, mate? There's 12 of us. Some people just fell under the radar. Big deal. Let's just get on with it. You can't disregard me like swatting away a fly. I guess somewhere around my level, probably. Or Heathcliff's. Ishmael replied in a voice that clearly lost interest in all this discussion. You're a sinner with the bizarre insectoid arm. We had no choice but to place you in the least favorite category of all researchers. Exceptions. They really hate that, huh? In other words, you are a unique case that cannot be placed in a list or scale. To do so would be irresponsible. I'd say you carry a certain potential. Potential, is it? Does that mean I could be first place if all goes well? It could very well be the reverse, given the definition of potential. Let's not query this. Let's not this query harrow your mind, Gregor. Your day will come. It was funny, getting consoled by the guy who placed last. Remember, we never had Gregor closure? Canto 1, Greg did not get any character growth. Poor Gregor. Poor Gregor, y'all. Okay, wait, hang on. So... Oh, it wasn't placed in the line, so someone actually put the line. Yi Sung is last, Sinclair is just above him, Ishmael, Heathcliff, Rhodia, Honglu, Faust, Mirsault. Ryoshu out is Dawn. So this is not the actual power. This is arranged by Kanto ID number. Then which one is their actual power? I actually don't remember the lineup that they had. But okay. So Don Quixote's the strongest and Yi Sung is the weakest. Dude. How could they do my boy Yi Sung dirty like that? Yi Sung just got Yi stunk. Not only do we have Gregor potential, but we also have the potential of mutation. Herman herself said that the arm isn't all there is to it. He stunk. Poor Yi Sung, guys. My boy Yi Sung deserves better. After some time passed. Next, we must discuss the classification numbers. We have assigning risk levels for distortions, just as well as abnormalities. The observation logs you have written for us were of great help, of course. My researchers struggled to parse the handwriting of certain sinners, however, but it was good data all the same. We once had a 3-hour debate over a letter. Even that bloody governess gave up on trying to fix my handwriting. Heathcliff grinned proudly and wiped the side of his nose. As you must all be aware, the current system of classification numbers has a rather significant oversight. Yay. Because abnormalities were creations of the former L Corp, our classification system had to be lifted whole from their system. However, the criteria by which the former L Corp measured the risk level was the amount of their energy production. As a correlation of sorts, it was often the case that the most aggressive abnormalities produced more energy, but their destructive capabilities were not part of criteria, despite the correlation. Oh, are we grading sinners by WoW and he and all that stuff? Cool. They were energy, an energy company at the end of the day. It makes sense that their priority would be to measure energy output. However, both abnormalities and distortions must be suppressed via direct confrontation. Thus, the former L Corp's classification system is rather incongruent with our current purposes. I once heard someone say that we should be wary of people who drone on and on in the intro. Thus, it became necessary for us to reorganize the distortion's risk levels and classification codes. Wow, how interesting. So whose job is that going to be? I am rather taken aback by the naivete with which you asked me that question. Stop roasting my friends. Us. It's us. Sinners without the right to refuse, was it? Wait a sec. Aren't you just offloading your work on us? Onto us? Privilege given to researchers. Oi, oi, don't be so ignorant, yeah? This is all just to, in order to research distortions, right? We gotta... The other way around, assistant. We gotta do research in distortions in order to solve them. Better. It's elementary, heck. Hohenheim's really got you wrapped up around his finger. You know that? According to LCD on-site investigation, reasoning team leader, the progression of a distortion is much like a disease. The fate of an abnormality awaits at the end of distortion phenomenon, after all. When a distortion progresses into an abnormality, all pre-existing individuality is erased, replaced with the totality of the abnormality. Thus, it is impossible to bring back a distortion that has already transformed into an abnormality. It will no longer have the reversibility they once had. It will no longer have the reversibility it once had in its distortion phase. So, distortions like the Time Ripper fella will eventually become an abnormality too, if left untouched? If you're referring to the subject He7PI2001, then yes. This is simply a prediction, of course, because the particular subject isn't contained here. I cannot say with absolute certainty that the progression into an abnormality will be observed. A correct assessment. Oh, doesn't Limbus Company collect the Time Ripper? Didn't Limbus Company collect the Time Ripper? We hoped we would, but T-Corp was very adamant about their claim over the entity to the point where they refused to even sit at a negotiation table. I found their time-ripping ability quite fascinating, but it seems I must know when to cut my losses, I suppose. Wait, so He's something is the new classification code format? Indeed, because it is so difficult to identify and observe the origin and the shape of distortion. We decided to forgo that information instead and replace them with sin affinities and expected damage scale. Sin affinities. PAI must refer to Pigrita, sloth. It appears that the classification now mimics the classification of the Pecutula. So that's why he was teaching us. He was teaching us the new classification. They do indeed follow the same thought process if we're being technical here. I wouldn't say it mimics it, but it would be accurate to say as Pecutula are at once the origins of the distortion phenomena and its byproducts, the affinities can be transferred one-to-one. What's the expected damage scale? Combat capability, I'm guessing. I remember them saying that risk levels were determined based on enkephalin prediction. Oh, you're speaking so low the mic keeps cutting out? Sorry about that. Combat capability. I'm guessing. I remember them saying that risk levels were determined based on enkephalin production rates, which is not the most meaningful information to us having to fight them directly. It was a tad inconvenient to put a nebulous idea like combat capabilities into a singular numerical scale of pleasure. Certain entities have idiosyncrasies and variables that may make such a linear measure quite meaningless. So instead, we decided to measure the expected amount of damage that Limbus Company personnel might suffer should they engage with entities in battle. While this Time Ripper poses very little threat against sinners due to your idiosyncrasies, the nature of their weapon means that they can immediately deal a nigh fatal blow to anyone within the LCC department with a single strike. That is why Distortion was given a rather high unexpected damage scale of 6 from a 1 to 10. Please do note that this is not a perfect system, and these values are they're only as references. Will this standard be applied to abnormalities as well? We have plans to do so, yes. Risk levels and expected damage scales will be coming before their classification codes. Speaking of which, I have something to show you all. What is it? What else other than the monolith? One with the highest potential value among Limbus Company's businesses. Gotta get the ASMR mic. I didn't know I was cutting out. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'll try to be a bit better. Eager rates are 1%. Ain't that bad, especially when you get one, they get removed from the poll. So I don't really... Club is egos. You really need 80k lunacy. You probably don't, but I'm definitely overkilling it just in case. You know, you want to be guaranteed rather than not guaranteed. Just saying. The artifact by its very nature poses a great danger. I hesitate to embrace its use so willingly. Great danger. But wouldn't you say that we are all beset by danger at all times? No, not sleepy. Just need to stretch. My back hurts. Huh? Okay, everyone stretch real quick. Makes it easier to perform. The arbitraries in deciding how dangerous something is comes from the degree to which it poses a risk. As you already know, the monolith here is a device that can force a distortion. It is scattered throughout the city, just like the Golden Bough, at first only in possession of the fingers and syndicates of backstreets, to now be collected by companies, both large and small, nameless like a plague. We also learned that they would become rather high priority targets for some wings out there. As luck would have it, we managed to begin our research, expedition, and collection of the monoliths much earlier than others. Now we are already at the stage in which we may partake in the processing and sales of these artifacts, expanding our business ventures. You could say that we narrowly avoided the very unsavory fate of having to tussle with the wings for the possession of these artifacts, because we may have had to confront the wing directly were that the case. Asking out of pure curiosity here, what would happen if we were ever assigned a city threat level? Is she? When we don't ask questions we don't ever want to find the answers to. I mean, what if we, due to some contractual shenanigans, end up going against the associations? I think it'd be good to know ahead of time just in case. Seems like a question worth entertaining to me. Let's see. From Canarn to Star of the City, I suppose your assignment will be somewhat between Urban Plague and Urban Nightmare. Not SOC yet, are we? It seems almost as if you want to be given a threat level. Excuse me. It is true that you, upon first sight, due to your revival powers and the potential of the identity technology, may appear to pose a rather troublesome risk. However, you have very clear and obvious weaknesses. Indeed. All of our advantages will be moot upon the manager's death. Hohenheim slowly turns around to look at me, prompting Faust and the other sinners to follow suit. What if we protected them, though? I am impressed by your optimism, given the enemies you have faced thus far. We don't need to go back in time to discuss the incidents with the fixer Siegfried or Big Brother Ricardo. I have read from your reports. Should the third sinner seek to attack the manager with her full might, do you really believe the rest of you have the strength to protect them? No. The flow of this world is that the manager will be preserved, that no such thing may come to pass. That's enough, Hohenheim. Any further divulgence, and Faust will open a disciplinary committee to discuss the consequences of your careless words. Not there yet, are we? Very well, whichever is the case, you do have potential to become a star of the city at some time in the future, but do remember that it would be best if you could avoid that unfortunate designation. And please don't forget that it is only true as long as you have Limbus Company's backing. Dante has plot armor. Stretch everyone. It makes it easier to perform. Hayami then proceeds to sit in her gaming chair for another hour. Alright, final checkup. Here's the dungeon, y'all. I'm stretching my brain. Dude, we're learning like a ton from this Limu Company story. I can finally convert to Enkephalin. Suppress the dungeon boss. Okay, I don't know who I want to take with me. But let's definitely take the new Yisong, just so we get some bonus stuff with us. Even if he's not leveled up. I'll try to level him as much as possible. Yeah, that's the best I can do for now. I do have a lot of threats though. You guys would be proud of me. Why would you want to be SOTC? To feel good about yourself? Let's be honest, the sinners just kind of want to feel good about themselves every now and then. Is that so bad for them? I think I'll take my bleed team, actually. Let's see. Barber, priest, princess, manager, Pequod, and Oshu? No, we'll take Labo Corp. Flo is Vergs. That's that, and this is this. Then again, it would be worse. You could be Civitas Impuritas. We're almost done with a regular checkup. Finally, we have a chance for you to overcome an adversary based on what you have learned thus far, and for me to prove my hypothesis. What hypothesis is he talking about? No need to worry, my hypotheses have never been wrong. Most of the time. This experiment is entirely of my own design and supervision, and I will faithfully allow my pure curiosities and instincts as a researcher. Guys, I have a feeling we're not going to like where this goes. Now, do you see the monolith over there? Yeah, I see the monolith all right, but... don't you worry. My researchers will be the one to activate the artifact. Activate the artifact? Not on you. Relax. I understand that none of you would be willing to participate in this experiment. I swear, if you're going to force us to distort saying that we have no right to refuse or something, I'm gonna... Yeah, hang on. You can't just do that. Even if I am your assistant. Yes, but if you must, we are willing to send the weakest sinner among us for... Forget I said that. That was foolish of me to say. I will be the subject of the experiment myself. You're gonna distort yourself? Am I hearing that right? I did not out his voice there, I'm sorry. Aren't you curious to see what kind of distortion you'd end up becoming? I'm sure this question you've all entertained at least once. No, it ain't curious. I ain't curious. It ain't a very pleasant experience either. Stop gritting your teeth, assistant. It will have an adverse effect on your long-term dental health. What if you end up turning into a pecatulum? You could end up becoming a pecatulum, just another one of the fodder we slaughtered our way through for the test earlier. You're risking that? It is indeed a possibility. It would signify nothing more than my very own limitations, just a mediocre shell. If such an incident comes to pass, these employees will transport me to a containment unit. We even made a bet on what kind of pecatulum I would turn into. He bet on Goulet, I on Invide, and her on Pegrite. But how could you think about it like this? If I were to become a pecatula, it would be akin to losing a game of chance. Of course, what counts as loss may depend on what I, at the precise time, consider to be losing, but the mere fact of turning into a pecatulum reaves me of any value of life. I'd say he was being too hard on himself, but that felt like too simple of an expression to describe his tone. The company would most likely attempt to transport me to a containment unit, but I disagree with that decision. I would like to ask that you dispose of me on the spot. I am very well aware I'm not the kind of congenial person who earns others' favors at first meeting at all. I also don't believe that our brief relationship has been the most amicable kind. Therefore, I see little reason why you would hesitate to cut me down. Of course, sinners with gentle hearts like this young sinner may have expressed against certain distaste against the decision. But once I become a peccatulum, it may as well mean that Hohenheim, the entity, has ceased to be, so I hope no unnecessary emotions like guilt clouds your judgment in killing the peccatulum, a mere byproduct. But what if something unexpected happens? We're talking about your life here. Don't you have any manuals, backup plans, or... This is a very simple matter, nothing more than a coin flip, heads or tails. It appears that you are still insisting on your absurd 50-50 theory. I am a researcher who wishes to humiliate the field of mathematical statistics, unlike the general lay of academia. I believe there is a certain romanticism in research. It is much more exciting to run as many tests and gain as many samples as we can than to be stuck behind a desk, poring day and night over books and papers, isn't it? If it's tails, then you may dispose of me, and the employees here will take care of the rest. Don't forget to destroy the key inside the coat pocket and files inside my cabinets, for example. Yes, we remember. If I were to successfully destroy it, we would be halfway to discuss. For the first time, I am feeling quite the envy for you all. I wish I could witness my very own distortion. Huh? If you've been paying attention to my lectures, perhaps you could even come up with a classification code for my distortion, too. Going by the standards we have discussed earlier. Not that I have very high expectations. Nodding along to my words is not a signifier of comprehension, but an expression of societal niceties. Then the manager here will open the entrance to my dungeon of fathoms, and you will progress through the mirror dungeon as you have always done. When facing a distortion, to reach its deepest fathoms, to face my distortion once again. I wish you the best of luck in your suppression efforts. Hexection. And once you've made it this far, it is likely that you'll find me unconscious, or, if luck would have it, conscious. Unconscious? Are you sure this is safe? Degree of case-by-case variance is to be expected. It may take some time for a full recovery, but it will happen should you succeed. That reminds me, that's how this bamboo-hatted Kim was brought back as well. Bamboo-hatted Kim? He's recovered? He is safely contained within our facilities. It seems they are ready to activate the monolith. I am confident that I, even as a distortion, will be an exceptional specimen. Hang on, just like that. You're not a peccatulum. Indeed, and I can still hear them. Yes, I remember. I still do. I know he'll be back, but gosh, this is unnerving. Don't worry, we'll bring him back, no matter what. The manager says we'll bring him back, no matter what. Sure sounds like a dependable sort, this manager of yours. Very well, please take a look at this. Is this a note? Did he write tips on how to do this or something? He says that all you have to do is read what's on that note in front of his distortion. Apparently it's some sort of code. I don't think you'll hear anything but ticking noise from me. Can you read this, Mersault? It will be done as you commanded. Mersault nodded, then began to read the words from the note aloud. Lobotomy Corporation, 5 minutes, potentially. Anticipation, right hand. The moment Mersault uttered them, the all-too-familiar portal began to appear around Hohenheim's distortion, as though they were a key to a door. The scattering shards of familiar yet alien sights appeared intermittently beyond the shimmering veil. Hohenheim had already entered the portal as we stood there gawking, but we could still hear his voice echoing. I suppose I'll be forced to share my past here. The past I never wanted to share, the past no one cares to learn about. It is something I must endure for the sake of this experiment, however. I needn't expose every little detail of it. It's all in the past now. Oh my god! Hohenheim was a lobotomy corporation researcher? So that's how he knows about all these ego gifts and whatnot. He was the LobCorp researcher this entire time. Dude, guys, I think I just went freaking. The guy is a clerk. Oh, what's going on with them? Good. It appears that I can censor these with my own will, at least a degree. Your mission here is to classify my distortion, reach the end of the Dungeon of Fathoms, and bring me back. Your mission, however, does not involve digging into my past. It appears we have a passing familiarity with this place. You, us. What is it that they seek to convey? I don't believe any proper communication will be feasible, given that you are in a Dungeon of Fathoms. Well, then do something about it. I regret to tell you that the setting of this dungeon is out of my hands. Had it been up to me, I would have manifested a place that was much more fascinating, like that library, fabled to have every book in existence. You used to work for Lobotomy Corporation? One of my past careers, yes. Us. Diplomacy did not seem to be an option here. The censored people brandished their weapons threateningly and stood in our path. Looks like we're gonna have to take them down if we're gonna make any progress. It can't be helped. Let's get ready for a fight. I don't think the community even knows what a clerk is. I mean, a lot of people probably haven't played Lobotomy Corporation. For those of us that have played LobCorp, yeah, this is crazy. For most people, though, who've only played Limu Company, it's like, you know, they're probably just more like, eh. I have no idea what's going on, but eh.
적중에 정신 못 차리는 녀석이 있네.
처리해 볼까? 인도적인 조치는 필요 없을 거야.
But yes, as you guys can tell, Lobotomy Corporation's kinda... I liked LobCorp, so... I read a Let's Play of... read a Let's Play. As long as you kinda know LobCorp, then you know. That's the big thing I'd say. LobCorp gives you context. It's not as important as Library. Library is actually extremely important to the story of Limbus, but you don't need Lobotomy Corporation. You can actually do very well without Lobotomy Corp. The big one I would recommend is Library of Rona. Library will give you all the context for these games. LobCorp isn't really required. You need a story summary of Ruina. Ruina is important because while Lobotomy Corporation is a prequel to Ruina, you can do Ruina without Lobotomy Corporation. And I would say Library has a lot more information that is pertinent to Limbus Company. So I would recommend Library. Lobotomy you can live without. It's more like a very stressful, fun game where you kind of learn cool stuff about the world. Oh, here's a good way to put it, guys. Lobotomy Corporation, all you really need is the ending for the story. The important part of Lobotomy Corporation is best for world building. If you have world building, that's all you need for Lobotomy. Did something escape or something? Rupture gift. Sure, we'll take one. Allow me to correct myself. You need LobCorp story summary for Ruina. Yes. Really, all you need to know is the ending. If you watch the ending of Lobotomy Corporation, you're prepared to go into library. In my opinion. Anyone who disagrees is weak. But if you want to get your full experience, the world building of Limbus Company, everything, I would recommend Lobotomy. If you like the world, if you like the context of, what's it called? If you like the contextual information of abnormalities and world building, you need to play Lobotomy. But otherwise, you can go without it. So how do we know this guy's actually distorted? He doesn't sound any different from his usual self. The sanity degradation due to distortion affects every subject differently. I mean, yeah, but censoring his own fathoms? But Hohenheim, you're in a dungeon of fathoms. We will see it through with Dante's powers, whether you want to show us or not. You make a fair assessment. How about this then? If you were to see them anyway, allow me to save you the trouble and give you a quick rundown. Come visit me as soon as you finish watching my tale. This tale began when a man walked into my laboratory. Yes, I had a personal laboratory all to myself, one of the few perks of being an elite researcher. This guy's telling the story however he wants, isn't he? I'm Mr. Hohenheim. Control Team? Who was the leader of Control Team? Let me think. I don't remember what he looked like. Something like this, perhaps? Whichever is the case, I plan to censor his appearance anyways. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. Stop. Are you here to express your displeasure with me? The what now? If you are, do let me know from the get-go. I had a feeling it was about time this would happen. 3 months, not a bad record for working without a workplace conflict. Oh, if this is about quitting, then you might find much better audience among the human resources team. No, I mean, I'm just here to thank ya for picking me, some dude from the back streets to work here. I heard it was you who made the hiring decision. I don't know how to put this, but you're the only one who saw my, what's the word? In my potentiality. You saw something that no one cared to look before. You know what I mean? But it had nothing to do with something so grandiose like his potentiality. A wing does not hire people from the back streets for something so insignificant. While this information has never been publicly available, Lobotomy Corporation's primary criterion was trauma. Candidates with horrible, insurmountable trauma were often favored by the company. And in an indirect way, it was only natural that they would begin to favor candidates who originate from the backstreets. Your greetings are acknowledged, Jimmy. Now feel free to leave my office. I ain't Jimmy. Anyway, I've been meaning to ask, Mr. Hohenheim, why do you always be alone? It may come as a surprise to you, but I am adept at spending my time all on my own. It is one of the hundreds of distinguishing features that set me apart from ordinary men. Say, don't you need someone to be like your loyal right-hand man? My right hand is doing just fine, thank you very much. You believe in potentialities, Hohenheim. I make this guy sound more like Heathcliff. Oops. What an unrelentingly stubborn employee he was, even in hindsight. Thanks to you. And I've been thinking, if I keep at it, one day I might even find myself living in a large nest, changing my world, little by little. Kinda like how a thing like me managed to snag up a position here at Lobotomy. So I'm thinking, here, that I want to stick around in your circle. To bring about such drastic changes to one's life is in a realm of feasibility for an exceptional researcher like myself, indeed. But you are, like most rabble, painfully average in most qualities, and therefore unlikely to be moving forward in that change. I have no faith in universal things like potentialities. I have faith in myself and myself alone. Besides, I'm not very partial to mathematical statistics like the probability theory anyway. So I would like to keep both my right and left hands on their own. Have a nice day. Want to know something about me? I'm the kind of guy who doesn't really think about things. Actions before deliberations, you get me? Thoughtless and carefree. Possibly the only merit to be found in those who originate from the backstreets. Or was that a thinly veiled threat of physical assault? No, I'm talking about the new ammo that just got shipped here. It's a tricky one to manage. I'll tell you what. It reads your mind, screwing up all kinds of strategies or whatever. Wanna shoot for the Department of the Year award? Together. The character ain't Italian? What is he then? Is he British? You seem to be rather skilled in the art of transactions. One of the few merits found in those who originate from backstreets. I will admit, I was overcome by a certain ennui back then. And in hindsight, it was foolish of me to engage in such inane conversations. You let us. The remnants of the past come to haunt us. Perhaps it is I whom they truly wish to hurt. He is censored. From Boston? I don't know how to do Boston.
직원들 복장 점검은 다 마치셨습니까?
At least the girl wasn't wearing Arbor Blossom Star has a LobCorp haircut. Also, some people on Twitter say that NPCs have LobCorp hairstyles. I mean, they're all also equipped with what's it called? Lantern. So that's interesting, but you know.
기계는 이대받는 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요. 이 작살엔 필살의 집념이.
Jeez, my team is gonna rip through them like a bunch of paper shreds. Though the rerun of Bong Bong. This is more like a remix of Lobotomy Corporation music, I'd say. Let all blossoms be free! Scissor!
방금 너무 근사한 일격이었는데?
It's neutral theme and back. Yes. Who is this New Yorker in my SCP Foundation game? Yeah, it's just a remix of LobCorp. It's finally here, the Department of the Year award. Indeed, I have finally done it. With some minor assistance from you, of course, and some other employees. Come on, admit it. Didn't you notice that a lot of employees are saying hello? Good morning and what have you to you in the hallways compared to when your reputation was a bit, you know, it's all because I'm just that good of a right-hand man. I will admit that your intuitive and spontaneous eye was of some assistance when it came to identifying certain observations among abnormalities. This is the potentiality I was talking about, man. Same thing you saw in me when you decided to get me on board. Apologies for ruining the moment, but the next few years quickly and busily flew by. Of course, we picked up ourselves a few more Department of the Year awards, some promotions, and some collaborative researchers. Yet all things must come to the end. The infamous fall of Lobotomy Corporation. You've just... so I don't suppose you have any trouble hazarding what they're telling me, even as the words come out, fragmented. You left us. Nothing but words of endless resentment. You left us behind. Oh, the fall of former L-Corp. I remember what Miss Yuri told us. The site crumbled in an instant, trapping the employees in there with the abnormalities. What was that sound? Yes! Siren 1. The whole structure is quaking. What the heck is this? Initiating site burial in 100 seconds. Any remaining employees must immediately evacuate the structure. Counting down. 95, 94. The escape pods of the service are here. Yet there's only one seat left. They're saying that the next one's in 5 minutes. Listen closely. At the risk of sounding rather callous, I must inform you that the chance of survival in cases of crises such as this usually granted only a very small minority of those affected. Some who prioritize the fairness of the process may settle on primitive methods such as drawing lots, and in more barbaric groups, the survivor would be decided by the rule of might. However, I am glad to find myself among those who are on the side of intelligence. So I make this argument, a suggestion before you. Compare yourselves. Whose sole final purpose in life is clinging to your mediocre office jobs and making good on debt payments, and me, who has produced several groundbreaking epochal theses and research such as at an early age, whose life, in your eyes, is of greater worth. Yes, and this is how the tale ends. The compound collapsed 90 seconds later. I left the employees in my department behind and boarded the escape pod and survived. Oh, could you? Not even a hint of remorse? Wrath is a hideous emotion. I'm here today because I have maintained a cold, rational head. The L-Corp branch within Hohenheim's Dungeon of Fathoms begins to crumble. It almost appeared as though his heart was crumbling as well. Well, now that that's over with, I invite you to come face me, the distortion, and the experiment will come to an end. But just fighting and defeating his distortion to fight, I don't think that'll bring him back. I agree. We're still in deep waters here. This can't possibly be all there is to it. Ian could have given the branches more than 100 seconds, but nah. Nah, Ian was just like, you know, suffer. You're gonna suffer, and that's all there is to it. Okay, embers. Ah, bong bong. So that is the truth behind Lobotomy Corporation there. Because this was when Carman was in control, right? This wasn't when, what's it called? During Ian's manifested ego Lobotomy Corporation. Well, of course it wasn't. No one would have escaped from that. This was back when Carman was trying to car her man or something, whatever. You know, Carman. This was back during Carmen's reign. And then the Lobotomy Corporation we play, spoilers guys for Lobotomy Corp. This was after his plan was completed? Wait. Was the downfall of Lobotomy Corporation? This was during Ian? I could have, okay. So, but wasn't the Lobotomy Corporation we play the manifested ego of Ian? Or did he open multiple branches? And that was during the start of the White Knight and Dark Days. This is branch of L Corp. The downfall happens at day 50. Okay. This is the branch of L Corp. Reminder, site burial, side branches. Right. They talked about that with Yuri in Canto 1. Okay, I'm on the same page now. Rock on.
대부분 분야에서 저는 최고의 성능을 내는 AI지만 응원은 조금 더 준비 시간이 필요합니다. 공감의 영역은 잘 쓰지 않았던 기능이라
Do you remember where we get golden mouse from? Branches of L Corp. This entire game is starting with everyone raiding branches. Okay, I get it. All right, I'm on the same page. LobCorp ain't Ian's ego. I'm pretty sure the ending of LobCorp was that it was a manifested ego. Lobotomy Corporation the entire time was Angela's. No. Library was Angela's ego. Ian's ego was LobCorp, I believe. I'm like really sure about that. HQ was built from extracting from A. The library was Angela. Ian had no ego. Could have sworn it was in day 46 dialogue. Frickin' heck. I thought LobCorp was an ego this entire time. I thought it was Ian's ego, actually.
이런 과정들을 통틀어 신뢰라고 부른다고 하더군요. 긍정적인 변화.
Ascendant, Sancho Hardblood. Death. I think you're thinking of the Keter level of L Corp. Am I?
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위
Is multiple Ian personalities roaming around? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Ian is here to be with me. Ian's insane. And inane.
지금은 성공했지만 앞으로는 어떨지.
Here we go. It's closer to Shin and Ming than A ego. Okay, we arrived at the entrance to Hohenheim's laboratory. This may be my final order to you. Either suppress me and return safe and sound, or fail the suppression, place me in a containment unit, and perhaps we can observe what happens next. That's when Heathcliff suddenly strode forward. Hohenheim, Mew. Do you still believe in that potentiality? I do. It's what keeps me going. You only hire research from the back streets, don't you? I heard from him earlier. So that's why he liked Heathcliff. Because of his past experience in LobCorp. They told me you were a pompous bloke. But thanks to you, they can continue to research and believe that there were things in the world that's worth working towards. So that's why. It was because of his experience with the one dude. Distorted
나만 믿고
Hohenheim.
다들 집중해줘.
This should be a rather
너는
easy
할수 있을
fight
거야.
with my Blee team. Oh, he's a poiser.
꿰뚫려라.
Think of it closer to constructs. Green Lantern makes them ego.
저놈을 추적해.
자, 펴, 펴, 펴. 자, 펴, 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 펴. Oh, you poised. He's a weird poiser. A poiser even. He's a poiser. Oi, buddies. He's a poiser. You know what I'm saying?
아, 저런 건 그냥 쓱싹.
Oh shoot, he regenerates sanity.
편하게 해.
자기 일 아니라고 그렇게 말하시면 어떡해요.
총원 불격.
Many parts of the facilities were created from our minds. So, as long as I know LobCorp isn't an ego, I at least understand that much. I thought it was an ego, that's why. This entire time. We pretty much just wail on him. Jeez, his poise keeps going up. Sweet goodness gracious.
먹어 치워라.
Ow.
어떤 시간과 공간에 계시는 관리자님이 들을진 몰라도 그때를 위해서
How did you think building such enormous underground structures in such a short period of time was
이것도
possible?
녹음되고 있는지는 미처 몰랐네요.
Hey, hey, local, welcome. The library was Angela's ego because Angela stole the seed of light for herself.
오늘도 즐거운 하루를
Oh,
시작이네.
fridge. We gotta manifest here.
볼륨 좀
Manifest
확인할게.
yourselves.
대답 소리가 잘 들리지 않아서.
Okay, perfect.
고귀하게 발유 산초 경혈 60.
Jeez, his shield keeps on building. What in the world? We need multiple extractions until we find finally solidified amorphous images. How do you feel after meeting Heath with round glasses and act like nerd team? I like them. I liked this team actually. Spending time with this team has actually been a bit of an enjoyable experience. He gains percent of his missing HP as a shield. Oh. Weaken the poise. Weakens the shield passive. I'm gonna weaken the shield passive. Are you kidding me?
응원도
His shield passive is what's keeping him alive.
위안일 뿐입니다.
That's his whole gimmick, shield and
조금 더
poise.
가치 있는 걸 추구하는 보수 아니겠습니까?
Man, if this was a mirror dungeon, he would be dead by now. Don't skip the event dialogue.
야의 고통.
Wait. Oh gosh, dang it. Can you guys summarize what happened? I didn't realize there was lore. I thought that the choice event was just like meh.
방금 했던 공격은 매우
Guys, can you guys
똑같았어.
please summarize what happened with the choice event? I'm so sorry.
다음 공격은 더 잘할 수 있도록.
What did he say? No.
너희 중에
Please.
이상인원이 생긴 것 같은데?
I'm on bated breath begging.
주위를 분산시켜보죠.
Spare me from my mistakes. I always thought choice events didn't have lore in there. Someone? Anyone? Fill in the streamer on what happened?
공격으로 대응하는군요.
Since when were choice events met? Have you played Mirror Dungeon? You point out flaws in Hohenheim thinking and somewhat agrees and becomes weaker. Okay. Wait, Hohenheim admits that he's wrong? Wait a second, guys. Are these amno fights just us making people feel better about their mistakes in life? Is that all the secret is? Okay, hopefully there's another choice event.
시작이네. 그렇지? 잠시만.
He keeps saying that he felt nothing abandoning his team, and Dante is making him question it. Story choice events just like Ruina, and Hohenheim isn't an abnormality. He is distorted though. Dude, we're just giving them physical therapy at this point. Okay. Wait, Dante's making him question it. Guys, can we all point out just how much our boy Dante has grown throughout the journey of Limu Company? Like, Dante, our boy Dante has grown a ton. Oh!
올바른 방법으로 개체에게
258 damage.
이것이 바로 정보의 힘입니다.
Don't mind if I take that. The escape pods to the surface are here, but there's only one seat left. They're saying the next one's in 5 minutes. Look, I don't actually believe you hired because you saw potential in me, but I want to believe that you found the hope and potentialities. A hope and intent. It took me 2 dialogue events. Well, you kind of skipped the fight. Wait, really? Was there more to that fight and I just brute forced it? Hayami for the win! A hope of anticipation that we can make things better as long as we keep at it. There were 3 dialogue events? Gosh, dang it, I'll have to go back through. I can't leave you all behind. I can't just save my skin without everyone. This is what a right-hand man does, isn't it? Take my potentiality you found and rise. Take it with it to the surface. But you... Johan, what about you? Well, maybe next time. Some other time. Wrath is a hideous emotion. That is why I did nothing at the entrance. Only remembering nothing more. Remembering the ones I've left behind. Dude, I don't even know Harry Potter that well, and this already makes me relatively sad. I can sense the dungeons of fathoms beginning to close. I've returned safe and sound. Teared up a little, okay. Welcome back, boss. To be frank, I once wished to be someone like you yourself, Heathcliff. What are you talking about? We don't want Heathcliff to be like Heathcliff. Because it's easy to put faith not in games of numbers, but in those slimmest potentialities of the world continue to exist. I know it's not very befitting of a researcher to be so, but it's quite a romantic attitude for a human to embody, is it not? Well, experiment is over. It was a huge success, all thanks to us, right? No, it was a failure. I had established this hypothesis, the sole answer was to hold a firm belief in self and nothing else. Had my hypothesis been correct, I would have remained distortion. Thus, I would like to extend a gratitude to all of you. Thank you for making me fail. It seems that the classification for my distortion was He5SU. Disappointingly mediocre, but I suppose it can't be helped. The world is a place where we must find the ray of potentiality among the mediocre after all. Let us move on now. Mephistopheles is prepared to depart. Hohenheim's researchers waved at us. We'll meet again, right? Ew, no thank you. Everything has an end, so do consider this to be our final meeting. Down to the last exchange, this guy. The last thing we saw before the portal activated were the LCE researchers pushing up their glasses. Though I'd only taken a step or two, the entire world around us seemed to transform, landing us back to our transportation instrument. Now that I think about it, we didn't even get to learn why Gregor's bones made those cracking noises. All we learned was that the sinners had become mediocre, but they held potentialities. Each of us mulling over the events at LCE, we returned to the bus where Charon and Virgilius were waiting for us. He was mediocre, whoop whoop. I like how he said potentialities to Heathcliff. You know what that means? Kim Seon-bae recognizes, what's it called? Potential man Cliff. Michael Jackson was a hee-hee ego. Okay, someone had asked how I'm doing in terms of saving. First and foremost, let's buy these new extraction tickets. Okay, perfect. And some more boxes. So, y'all want to know how many I have? He recognized the slim chances of redacted returning. I have 42,000 or 46,000 lunacy, and 100 extraction tickets with 2 Deca extraction tickets. Now, Hayami, react to the patch notes? No, because I guarantee we are going to get a PV. I know we are. Someone said on Friday, Limbus doesn't release updates on Friday, it's on Wednesday. There's gonna be a PV this weekend. And then they're going to send us over this Saturday. We're gonna get a PV. I guarantee it. Guarantee there's gonna be a PV. They never not do a PV, and Christmas got a PV. So I'm 100% sure Yield My Flesh is getting a PV. Can't you just save until you hit 800 pulls? Potentially, but let's see, 1300. That's about 104k lunacy. Yeah, PV on Friday, and I want to watch that PV and then release my reaction video to it. I like PVs more than patch notes, so I'm gonna stay away from the Project Moon channel for a week. I'm gonna hold out. But yes, so far we're looking at 120 pulls with 46,000 lunacy, which is, oh geez, how much is 100 pulls? 130. Wait, that's 1,300 or 13,000, 13,000, 14,000 or 26,000, 39,000. I currently have about 420 pulls, so I still need quite a few more. Yeah. I'm mainly doing this in case, you know, I need the pity. I guarantee I'll pull 1 ego, but you can't extract them. You can only pull them. So I'm doing this to really build up all the pity to get it. You know, fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed I get the arc knife. But yeah, how did you guys feel about the story? I actually enjoyed kind of learning more about Lobotomy Corporation, Limbus Company headquarters, our sinners and their power levels, and watching Don Quixote go berserk and kill my entire team. That was great. It wasn't as slice of life as I thought, and I'm really excited for the Sweeper story. And beyond the Sweeper story, you know what else I'm excited for? I'm excited for Canto 8, Don Quixote's Canto. It's gonna be great. We just did Hong Lu's Canto, so now this is gonna be great. The new IDs are abhorrent? Really? Is the new Faust really that bad? Gosh dang it. It's because she self-destructs, isn't it? After using this skill, dies. Lore rock. Yeah, so either way, no Mew Faust actually needs a brain to use. That's why New Faust is good burn, just kind of tricky to use. So basically, you can't win rate with New Faust. Either way, I gotta farm for Blade Lineage. I gotta farm what's it called? Oh, Yield My Flesh. I gotta farm Yield My Flesh. Wait. Wouldn't it be better to just wait until Yield My Flesh comes out? So when you do mirror dungeon runs, you get both Yield My Flesh currency and regular checkup currency? Or will that not work? I feel like that's broken to be able to farm 2 at the same time and clear out both story or both stores. Unless that's not how it's gonna work. Biggest sin of New Faust is that she can't benefit from 9-2 ego passive. Oh, that does stink. But alright, y'all. Because lol 0 less skills. By the way, New Yi Song loses. So by winning clashes, he literally is just pure unbreakables. On clash lose, gain final power. So you need him to lose to be strong. What the heck are these IDs? I'm literally only going to be using them to make my farming easier. Check out New Yi Song Uptie story. I will, but for now, we're actually going to close out for today. I'm sure there's like some good Limbus Company stuff, lore there. All right, y'all. So that's gonna be it for now. For our Limbus company, we finished off the story. This Intervallo was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the new Sweeper Intervallo and doing Yield My Flesh voiced. We will be doing that for sure. Hopefully sometime next week. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for being here, as you guys are the best part of every single stream, and I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. I'm going to go live one last time because I wanted to do a Nikkei story, and then that'll finish off everything. So if you guys are interested, please consider stopping by. But if not, have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. Take care, everyone, and bye-bye for now.